Hello, everybody, and welcome. Today we're going to be talking about the new comics that we're enjoying and reading, and just sit and have a nice Sunday chat with you guys. As you may notice, whether you come on here with us now or be watching this later, we are very early. Well, that is my fault. I do have had a big scheduling change, and I have to go to the northern city here very, very shortly. So Denali has been so gracious as to come on and do our show a little bit earlier. So, how you doing, Denelli?
I'm doing great. A little bit early for me as well, but ready to do this show and rock and roll.
Yeah, well, it is an odd scheduling thing we got going on, but it'll be cool. We still got our comics that we're going to be talking about and things that we want to get
Northern
into
City here very, very shortly.
So it should be fun. Let me just come over here real quick and share this out and see if we do have some people around. It's lucky because it actually is Sunday, so it might work out a little. Yeah,
Yeah,
we'll see how that goes. But anyway, yeah. So, how's your evening going?
still afternoon for me, but it's doing good. Does a lot of busy work, stuff that you can only do in the weekend. Clean the house, doing
Sure.
laundry and all that mundane stuff.
That mundane stuff is very important, actually, for sure. Now, you are currently you live by yourself, or do you live with your parents, your family, friends, or what have you? What's your situation?
My situation, I'm currently helping out my parents
Yeah.
right now, so we're all living together for the time being until they can get on their feet again.
Hey, you know what? That's something Japanese do, and I like it, actually. No, I think it works out really well, dude. We used to have this spirit of where we would all help each other out, right? And these days, families have become so disjointed. Actually living and supporting each other, taking care of each other is a really good thing. We live really, really close to her family, um, and we're interacting with them almost every day, particularly my wife. So it works
I
out
think
really
it's
well.
all. Yeah, I think it's really about the expectation that's put upon us and the idealization of where you're supposed to be, with the American dream and being independent and taking care of your own. I think is a large factor of that to actually say, oh, you have to take care of your parents or your parents have to take care of you after being, independent. It's a mark of shame, you know. I just say I'm helping out my family in that regard.
Yeah, no, no, here it's not. That's my point. I think this is one factor the Japanese actually do better, is in regard to that. But I guess that's not here nor there when it comes to comic books, but it is
Right.
something I do enjoy over here. But nevertheless, let me see. I have this all set up, so let me just jump over to this real quick and let me see. Let me come over and share this with you as well. Yeah, the books we're going to talk about today, we're reading. Actually, Denali's looking at a couple of the same ones I am, so that kind of works out. Um, you read more than I do. I can say that for sure. But this first offer right here, I don't know if you guys recognize this or not, but Denali, why don't you tell them about it?
This is the Black Monday Murders by Jonathan Hickman, who's the writer, and Tom Corker, who's the artist, which we happen to have thank to Todd Maruli as a special guest this upcoming Friday.
We do.
So join us there. We'll be talking to the artists about doing a masterclass edition. That's what we'll probably be calling when we have these wonderful artists a masterclass.
That's true.
Um,
We should title it that way, huh?
yeah.
Yeah.
But it's been very addictive. I mean, this is the synopsis of this is kind of horror, thriller and everything. It's two storylines. One dealing with this, I guess, these economics, these conglomerate CEOs, these brokers that made a pact with us otherworldly entity to make monies and power and influence, and then you have a detective that's kind of stumbles upon um, this conspiracy, and you're learning the history of both. You know,
Yeah.
the detective and this cult.
And you will
Um,
say nothing more.
exactly.
Yeah.
That's where we're leaving it. It's really interesting. What's fascinating is how dynamic the drawings are. You know, I know Todd's been talking a lot about, it. It's clear, it's crisp. You know where the where everybody is.
Mhm.
You don't have a hard time following, and kind of like what you mentioned before. You wish we colorists on, because a lot of the atmosphere, the ambiness, the subtle context is added onto because of those colors.
Yeah. No, and I chose a color page intentionally. This book right here, I'm reading probably for the same reason I'm reading for two reasons. One, we have a guest coming next week, so I'm doing my homework, right? Which is kind of interesting. You're doing these kind of shows, you are doing your homework. And I'd like to say hello to Eric, and we have Samuli Olki in here. That's a very interesting name. But yeah, just doing the homework, but also because Todd suggested it, and boy, is this book is really good. I mean, Masterclass is absolutely the way to say it. Not only is the art amazing, the story is really good too. Now, I'm not so deep into it. I don't know how many books are you in so far.
I'm about 3 or 4 issues in.
Yeah, you're ahead of me, uh, but
Yeah.
um, but I will have it done by the time he comes on next week, and I'm really enjoying it. But the reason I chose this 2 pages, one, this is kind of like a cover look here on the left of the Black Monday murders, and over
Hmm.
here we have a color page, and it's kind of interesting. In this case, the past shots, the shots going into looking at situations in the past sometimes they will have colored. Sometimes they'll have little splash of color here or there on the page, but in general, it's generally black and white. Well, grayscale, I guess would be a better way to say it, huh?
Yeah.
But it's a very interesting book, man, and wow. I mean, if you guys haven't read this yet, we really suggest you do. It's a stunning thing, and I'm really happy that Todd showed it to me. Yeah, because I had no clue.
All right. This is a book that you won't get everything the first read. This is a book that you have to read a couple times to get all the detail, because he does put a lot of detail, not just in the writing with Jonathan Hicksman's, but also in the artistry, because there's clues, context clues that sets up, future issues, that if you don't pay attention to it, you'll get lost easily. So do
Oh yeah,
yourself a service. Don't read as fast.
no,
Take it in, look at it, absorb it, and then continue on. This is a slow read,
yeah,
not
good
just
point.
because not because it's wordy or anything. It's because it has so much information
Yeah.
that you need time to process it.
Yeah, you do. That's a very, very good point, actually. Take your time with this book, for sure. But it's a good fun read, and I see here that uh, I hope I'm pronouncing this right, but Samuli is from Finland. So my Scandinavian brother, man. I am Chester Busby, or in the old language, I guess it would have been Bushibi. Probably not pronouncing that right either. But my father's family is certainly Norwegian. But then we've had a few people in from Scandinavia, huh? We've had some people from
Yeah,
Norway, and I've seen a couple from Sweden. So Scandinavia is well represented over here, man. That's really cool. Nice to have you with us too.
absolutely.
Yeah.
And Semele is usually a frequent poster
Yeah.
on our fan book page.
Yeah. No, I've
Uh,
seen it on the Facebook on the Facebook. Yeah. But or
yeah,
was it
the
Twitter?
Facebook.
Maybe it's Twitter
No,
too.
Facebook. Well,
But
Twitter maybe as well, but I see his name more on every time I'm posting up the news articles that we're going to be talking about.
yeah. Well, that's cool. You could
Mhm.
come on today by accident. We were on early, which is my fault. But so cool. It worked out, man. Awesome. Uh, but yeah, I we the problem with this book is we can't really sit and talk in depth about it because it'll spoil it. It's Yeah, just go read it. The
Well,
Black Monday
that's the
Murders.
that
Yeah,
yeah, that's the point. We're enticing you to read it
yeah.
because it's so good.
Yeah, but you know what I mean. We could talk a little more
Yeah.
in depth about certain things. This one you can't. But there's a few. I got a little list here that I've been growing, which I
Hmm.
don't. I'm always behind on, but that I've gotten suggestions. And actually, Todd has given a lot of really great suggestions. You know, he not only is he an artist, you know, a working pro, but he reads a lot, dude. I mean, he really consumes a lot of comic books.
Well, I think he has to in his profession just to see what's techniques are being
Mm,
used,
that makes sense.
for him to get some pathways or guidance. Maybe he's trying to figure out some way, and he'll remember, hey, I've read this. Let me use what this guy did and see if I could try it and see if
Uh-huh.
that's what I've been trying to do,
Yeah,
kind of deal.
Tank's very similar. Yeah.
Yeah,
It's because those two guys are actually working pros, right? Those guys have, you know, are in the business, right? And we got a bunch of other artists over here, just incredible skill, but they're not necessarily deep in the business or just on the fringe of it or want to get into it.
yeah.
Maybe that is one of the leg ups is to really stay on top of what's going on. That is cool.
Right. I think, yeah, it was something that Artie Bear mentioned in one of his live
Yeah.
streams back in the day where he said everybody takes from things. I seen like this so artist took the hands of this so artist, and this so artist took like the feet or certain parts, elements, and incorporated in their styles. And that's always the case, when you get an improvement of the style, say, hey, how this style shifted, it's because they're incorporating what they're reading, what they're researching, and all that kind of deals.
Well, and Art is someone you should listen to because he's literally drawn everything. Literally.
Yeah,
I mean, I still can't believe we had RT Bear on the show. So, you know, it was amazing. But
yeah. Awesome. Yeah, no.
I know it
And you
was
should
really
check
good.
out, and if you haven't seen it, watch our interview with Artie Bear and one of our
Mm.
past channels as well.
I actually
So
took
check it
that.
out.
I actually took that interview and separated it into its own thing. So, you know, some of the we enjoy all the interviews we do. We have a lot of them, but when we get a big legend like him or Mike Barron or something like that, we will take that and separate it off so that it can just be watched in its own, you know, own separate consumption. You know, but
Right.
that was really cool. Yeah, let's move on to the next ones here. But definitely check out this. It's a good book. Next page of stuff I have here. Now, one of these here, uh, I uh, I wanted to get and I couldn't. The other one here, I actually was thinking about taking a look at, but I was afraid of it. So, what do which one do you think it is? Which one was I
Let me
afraid of?
see. Um, I think you were afraid of the deadly class and you wanted to get the Arkham files,
Yeah,
case file.
exactly. But both of these I am quite aware of. I did actually look at the daily class a little bit. Of course, case file Arkham is now. Is this the ones that came through the Indiegogo, or is there something going on with this that was before the Indiegogo run?
This was going through the Indiegogo. They did this before with Kickstarter with the
Yeah.
first volume, but the second volume they did it with Indiegogo, and they did both volumes for that one. So I happened to get in luck and get both volumes, volume 1 and 2, with this Indiegogo go around,
Uh-huh.
and they have been fulfilled. So this is a fulfilled Indiegogo project.
Which is awesome,
Uh
right? Because we've been
yeah,
talking about those kind of things, and you know, we're not going to get into that conversation here. But one of the things
yeah,
we have been saying is, you know, a lot of these so-called smaller Indiegogos, those guys have got their stuff together and got them out on time, right?
yeah. Now this was a small delay, just in case somebody says that, but Kat Rhoda, who's the editor and also CEO of this small publishing one, said the delay was really mainly because of the money. They were waiting for the money from the Indiegogo to come in. And we kind of understand that because it took Mike Miller, for example, I think a month and a half before he got his money. This one was almost a month. So
Oh
they
yeah.
only delayed that. But once they received the money from the Indiegogo, they were shipping that quickly.
Right, which is what I meant. I mean, they were ready.
Mm, yeah,
They were ready. They were
right.
professional, is what I meant. Uh,
Absolutely.
but
Yeah.
anyway, I didn't back this one because you know I can't back them all. But
Hmm.
I wanted to. So why don't we start with Case File Arkham because this I know nothing about. Data Class I've actually read issue one. So
Hmm.
why don't we go ahead and tell me about Case File Arkham, dude?
Okay, so it's a Hank Flynn PI story following this PI Hank Flynn as he goes into this mystery, kind of similar to the Black Monday murders, but this was more in the style of the 1930s and everything, dealing with the Lovecraftian mythos and the weirdness that goes around there.
Mm,
And you're dealing with all these femme fatales. So this is a noir horror mystery kind of deal going on as well. It's been interesting, and you can tell that the artist had improved his style from the first volume to the second volume. Um, so that's also a plus there. And the story got a little bit sharper and all that. But no, I've been enjoying it as well. It has the things that I usually enjoy, which is a detective story, supernatural elements, and I want to keep following Hank Flynn and seeing what other adventure he goes to.
oh, that's cool,
Reminds me
dude.
of yeah.
I've been hearing a lot of buzz about it.
Uh,
For sure.
mhm,
Samuli says that he's heard a lot of good things about Dead of the Class. And Remender does great work in general. And Vasson looks like another Scandinavian, I do believe. Humble Bumble has Deadly Class Bundle, $1 tier for 13 issues, all digital, of course. That's pretty good, dude. Uh, this is cool, but I am one of those people who need to have a physical copy. Yeah, dude, it's although one really cool thing happened to me. I don't think I've talked to you since, Denali, but the
mhm,
other day when I had my day that I had to switch over and we had to do the FanSpeak on the Saturday, I did
mhm.
pick up my finally. It took like almost 2 months. I finally got my iPad Pro. I finally got it
Oh wow.
and it's a absolutely amazing thing. It's a ridiculous device, but I actually went and read some digital comics on it. It's unbelievable, dude. It's that 12.9 one is the big one. It's
Oh yeah.
it's literally the same size as a comic would be in my hand. Now I still prefer the
Yeah.
paper, but I'm just saying it's wow, what an experience. It's really cool.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Usually that's what I read my comics on the tablet as well.
yeah, yeah.
That's why I can handle the digital copies, and I can not mar my um,
Physical,
physical
yeah,
copy
yeah.
that much.
I get it. Yeah, yeah. Though
Uh,
it's especially for me being here in Japan, it's so hard to get physical comic books. You know, I have to literally spend like $50 just to ship. If I could literally get a single comic, and I'm still going to be spending at least $30 just for one comic. Right. That's how ridiculous shipping is here. So it's very hard. So when I get comic books, I get them in big stacks because it's
right.
you know. But nevertheless, it's something that I'm sure I will eventually will get to read the case file Arkham. And
Hmm.
but seems like they're talking about Dead of the Class most, which they're interested in. So I have read the first one on this one. So let's get over and talk
Sure.
about that one. Go ahead.
All right. What's your thoughts about the Deadly Class?
Well, I mean, I think it's an interesting idea. When I was reading through the synopsis and then the initials, of course, the initial first issue isn't going to necessarily give me all the information I need, right? But the synopsis I think is more useful. I when I was reading it though, I felt like I've seen this before somewhere though,
That's right.
you
I
know,
had the same feeling.
yeah,
Yeah.
what is it? Because the idea is you get all these kids going to this school, and their parents are, mafia bosses or just big baddie, the children of the big baddies, right? That's what
Right.
it comes down to.
Isn't
And
it? That sounds like Runaways a little bit.
yeah, but
But
runaways, they're not going to school together, right? But in my
yeah.
head is saying something. I've heard something about a bunch of kids of bad people in a classroom. I just don't know what it is, but it's bugging me. Uh,
Hmm.
but like I said, I've only read the first one, so you probably know more about it. So go ahead.
Yeah, so this is following the main character Marcus, who gets accepted to this elite assassin school. Um, but he has to deal with the whole thing of being growing up, puberty and peer pressure and all that under the guise of assassin schools, and killing people and all that stuff. So you get the general hijinks kind of deal, but with drugs, alcohol, sex, and weirdness that comes with it. Um, I For whatever reason, I have a love and hate relationship with the story. The story is gripping, but I hate all the characters.
Yeah, yeah,
It's like I don't identify with none of them. Would be the type that I would just kill all of them because I hate them so much. But
yeah.
the story is gripping enough that it keeps me, I want to find out what happens next. So it's a weird dichotomy for me for this book. It's The story is good, but I don't like the characters.
That's interesting. That's why I
Uh,
said I was a bit scared of
yeah,
it, because it really struck me as the teenager, teenage angst type of drama story, but it's
yeah,
not. But it is, but it's not.
yeah,
So
yeah. It is. It kind of he interweaves it where it is throughout, but it isn't throughout either. And
right,
that's the thing. The parts where it isn't, it's like full cylinder, great. But when it is, it's like,
exactly.
I get it. But and that's the thing. It's like I could care less about the characters themselves, but the story is gripping that I want to kind of see where this goes.
No, there it
So,
is. But
mhm,
there is a lot of buzz about this book, though. I've
yeah,
definitely, because I know we're talking with Brad. He mentioned that it's actually a seller at his stores. So it's
yeah.
pretty cool. But yeah, all right, guys. Willie's in here. How you doing, Willie? The Willie Mammoth is in here. How you doing, dude? We're just talking about some comics, and we're going to move on to another pair of comics here, real quick. And these right here, of course, I think I don't know if I picked the best pictures, but these certainly I know about. Um, so let's start out with Flash. Now, this right here, I don't think is actually an Ethan cover or
No,
interior, actually. But
no, that's the rebirth actual series, um, for the Flash uh, rebirth line. But the one the one we were talking about is the one with Jeff Johns
yeah,
and
and Ethan, yeah.
Ethan Van. Yeah,
But I just grabbed the I just grabbed the piece of art real quick off the internet. But we are talking about Jeff Johns and Ethan Skyver, where Jeff Johns has written a lot of good books, and unfortunately they kind of put faith in him to go over and do movie side, which he's not good at. He needs to go back to comics because that's what he's good at. But
right.
anyway, of course, I think most of us here know about the Flash Rebirth. Now, me personally, speaking about Ethan Van Sciver. I think I preferred the Green Lantern Rebirth, and all the stuff he did in there, because me Ethan did a lot in there, yeah. But we're talking about the
Yeah,
Flash, so
right.
and they did some
Yeah,
cool things with it.
there's a lot of good things about the Flash. I know EVS was more strong suit was with the Green Lantern and the Green Lantern Corps. So you can kind of definitely tell that this wasn't his full A game. Even though the art was phenomenal and everything,
Hmm.
and the story was great, it didn't click as it clicked with the Green Lantern
No,
stuff.
that was really good. Yeah.
But I did enjoy them bringing back Barry Allen from the Speed Force
Hmm.
and the whole shenanigans that goes there. For those who read The Flash Rebirth, it's still an awesome read. I still recommend reading it just for the story that
Uh-huh.
is told and the return of Barry Allen from the Speed
Well,
Force.
spoilers, Denali.
Spoilers.
But actually, that was a big event bringing him back. Actually, there was a
Yeah.
huge buzz in comics when when that happened. It was really cool too. And of course, now we know with this Heroes in Crisis, they went and they killed him. I don't get it. You bring him
I,
back and then you kill him. Of course, in the end, I'm sure they're going to twist it back somehow or another.
I think that was Wally West that he killed. They
Was
didn't
it
kill Barry
Wally? It
Allen.
wasn't Barry.
Yeah, it was Wally. It was
Oh,
Wally that
okay,
they killed.
okay. All right.
Yeah.
My bad. But
Yeah.
we do have a comment here from Samuli. He says, "Anyone read Remender's Black Silence? Sorry,
Uh,
Black Science? Yes, I have, dude. That is a great book. And actually, I should have put. I didn't even think about that. I could have put that up and talked about it today. Have you read Black Science?
that's one of my other titles that I'll probably going to eventually read as well.
I love that one.
Uh,
That's a good one.
I yeah, I heard good things about that one.
Yeah.
Probably next time, in a future episode, we'll talk about that one as well.
Yeah, no, we should. And he's saying he actually owns the spirits of Venom crossover here, which is
Oh,
cool.
nice.
I just threw that one up because I thought it was kind of cool cover. But we'll get to that in a second. The Flash one. Now I did read a bunch of. I didn't read the entire Flash Rebirth, but I did read
Mhm.
uh, most of it. I think, but and there was some really cool stuff going on in there, and there is some absolutely killer Ethan Van Sciver art in there. Um,
Yeah,
I mean, especially when they have, because they're like, isn't, if I remember correctly, aren't they all like at one time like in the Speed Force or something, and there's a big fight going
yeah,
on, or, uh, but it's just killer art, dude. And the story's good too.
absolutely. I mean, it's great, but when you compared it to the Green Lantern, it's kind of like it's great, but not that great. You know,
Well,
but it's still a solid read.
oh no, it is. You should definitely go read Flash Rebirth if you haven't.
Yeah,
It's a good book for sure. The whole Rebirth stuff in general was really good. Now I know a lot of people don't like the New 52, and there was a lot of complaint about that. Although I did like the idea because that is like one of the biggest reboot attempts DC had ever really tried. You know, and I enjoyed the effort of it. And there were some titles in there I actually liked quite a bit. Action Comics, for instance, I really enjoyed reading those Action Comics in New 52, but Rebirth was much better. And but Green Lantern is the standout of it, in my opinion. I mean, it
well,
was really well done. Hal Jordan's return
here's
and such.
just to talk about it, why New 52 kind of failed
Hmm.
and the Rebirth brand kind of became strong is because um, people wanted the personality to remain the same.
Yeah,
So
yeah,
when you, for example, the Action comic, you had blue collar Superman, which didn't wear a cape. He looked like Superboy,
yep,
in jeans and a t-shirt, and kind of was a dick
a
compared
little bit.
to not a little bit. He was pretty much a dick, just to be honest. Um, and that wasn't Superman. There's Superman is a certain type, like we saw with Christopher Reeve in the movies, like what we saw um, in the anime Superman the anime series, and even the Max Fletcher's animated series and the older comics, Golden Age and Silver Age Superman,
Hmm.
towards even the 70s. There's a certain personality gravitas to Superman that you can't get rid of, or else you're just making a new character. And when they brought that back with Superman Rebirth, and spoilers for those who haven't read it, and they merged the um, Silver Age Superman who survived the post Infinite Crisis of Earth or whatever, and the New 52 Superman, which is why I couldn't tell how they could get New 52 Superman back if he merged with the Silver Age Superman, but he is neither here or there. Everybody rejoiced and everybody was liking it, Superman, because it was Superman back to form, which wasn't the costume per se, but it was it was Superman. It felt like Superman. He talked like Superman. He acted like Superman. And
Hmm.
this was what's with the Rebirth, and they realized it's not it's not the changing the character and the personality. It's keeping the personality, just telling us a good news story with these characters, kind of deal. And that's
Yeah,
why Rebirth works so hard.
yeah, no. I do have a comment to that, but real quick over here in the chat,
Mm-hmm.
um, Simile says Uncanny X Force was excellent as well. Agreed. Trisha Sidekick says you do know that the Flash, that this Flash is part of the DC Rebirth, not the Flash Rebirth that EVS worked on, right? Yes, I do. I do, dude. I was just in a bit of
Yeah,
a kind of a mild panic today because I have a scheduling snafu. So I was very quickly putting this little presentation together, and I just literally clicked within a matter of 4 seconds, grabbed the picture and threw it on here because I was in such a hurry. I do realize that, dude. Now,
yeah, we did mention that.
Denali has reprimanded me properly, so it's okay, dude.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm getting yelled at from both sides. Uh,
Yep,
but yeah, no, we are talking about EVSs and Jeff Johns in particular. My comment to that is this: I think the mistake they made with the new 52 is very simple. They should have left the characters, the main characters, as they were, and they should have took the opportunity to introduce tons of new characters. Is what they should have done, and leave the core Superman, Batman, Wonder Woman, even our boy Aquaman and stuff like that. Leave them as they were, as kind of these guiding lights, and they just introduced a whole bunch of new stuff instead of just trying
yeah,
to adjust what it already sells. And that would have been that would have been a true new 52, right?
yeah,
And that was the mistake, I think. Oh, that's no
yeah.
problem,
They could
dude.
have
I'm just
taken.
kidding.
Yeah, they. Yeah, they could have taken 52 weeks to introduce a new whole cast and expand it and get gravitas. Not kind of like Cobra Kai. You have your mentors going for the new generation, and that would expanded. Got an interest in the public who's like, I don't want to follow these legacy characters because it's too much
Mhm.
stuff, but I'll follow these new characters because
Yeah.
they're news and exciting kind of deal.
And to be fair, I know we hate these reboots or these semi reboots. We hate the continuity things they mess with, the collectability, all those things. I get it, but what Marvel really needs to do is a true reboot. I mean, a true one. Shut down the old line. You can even have a little story that explains it. Go right ahead. I even have one in my head I thought would be cool. But they should completely reboot. And they should do classics and put them back in the timeline they were set in. And it would be this retro fun. And then have a whole cast of new stuff. That's what Marvel really needs to do. Because we've seen, because when, a couple of years ago, or the past 3 years or so, we know that the writing was really bad, but the art had gotten so bad. With CB Cebulski, and there's a lot of complaints about CB, and I think it has a lot more to do with disappointment than anything. But one thing that
Mm-hmm.
CB has absolutely done is brought back a much higher quality of art, much higher quality of art. And that's half the thing. The other half is, and we know that not all Marvel books are bad, right? But the
Yeah,
ones that are bad are really bad, the writing and the politics and stuff. So,
definitely.
you know,
But I haven't really touched a lot of Marvel stuff lately, so
well,
I think.
understand a lot of the stuff that comes out of our channel and other channels. It's not hate, right? This is love. We love comic books. We love Marvel. I am a Marvel fanboy for sure, and I'm not ashamed to mention it.
Mhm.
But the thing that's killing us is the people that have taken over a certain portion of Marvel comic books are just comic book haters, really, or comic book
Well,
opportunists, maybe.
yeah,
But
it's more opportunists because they're just using this as a platform to get to
yeah,
the TV shows
yeah, that's true.
where the real money comes in. This is just a stepping stone for them. So there's real no passions here. This is just it looks good on my resume,
Yeah,
so I can go on to the TV show and make more money and stuff like
yeah.
that.
But it's but yeah, don't misunderstand it, guys. This is love. Where there's this is not it's not even angst. This is simply almost begging. In a way. Samuli says, I see you talked about Batman No Man's Land recently. We did. That was a great show. Have been
Hmm.
meaning to take a look at it for a long time. I just now started reading Batman Prodigal. Yeah, that's a good one. Where Dick Grayson takes the role of Batman. Yeah, that is a good series. I haven't read all of that, but that I did like what I read. And the No Man's thing is something that Denali introduced me to, which I hadn't read, and I've actually read several of the issues now, and it's cool actually. Yeah,
Yeah,
and Argos
and that's
Creations. Yeah, go ahead.
I was gonna say yeah, and this is kind of like the purpose of what we want to do as well. It's, you know, read titles that we wouldn't have read because or we were so used to just following certain characters that we kind of ignore other ones. So, you know, this is kind of like a celebration. It's like, hey, you know, as much as we talk about the negative stuff, let's talk about the positive and kind of point out, hey, you know, maybe you haven't read this issue, read this issue, you know, and tell me what you think. Because I love to talk about, you know, maybe more Venom character, how he's gone from crazy to whimsical, or the Flash, or you know, certain storylines kind of deals. And if you're interested in talking with us about those storylines, you're more than welcome to join us. We always say, hey, if you
Oh
want
yeah,
to be on it, just hit either Chester or I and say, hey, we want to be on the show and talk about comics.
link
And you'll be,
links are right down below, guys.
yeah.
Yeah.
So
True. Bill from over at Argos Creations, and also my partner in one of the Tales from Beyond the Gate story, which is going to be really cool. I'm so excited about it. But he says I felt like Marvel did that reboot during Hickman's Secret Wars storyline. The 616 ended, and the comics ever since have ducked. Okay,
yeah, they
yeah,
did.
they did. They have these soft reboot things all the time. So does DC. But I mean a full hard on reboot, dude. I mean a real one. Not any of these soft soft little attempts they do because they're worried about collectability and all that stuff, which I get. But that's not. I'm not talking about these soft things. I'm talking about full hardcore reboot is what Marvel really needs. And it would.
Where they wipe everything, every memory.
Yes,
There's
yes,
no nothing. It would be
yeah.
like a new creator starting with a new
That's
character
right.
and seeing where it goes.
So, for instance, you would have like a classic section in a way where, because we're set in modern time, where you go back and you tell the story of Iron Man, Captain America again, but you tell it from a slightly different point of view because now this is an alternate reality. It's a new reality, completely new. So we can see the old stories in a slightly different angle, a slightly different light, and that would let them
Well,
create a whole new legacy set of and new characters for
I don't,
what's going on now.
I
That's
don't,
what I
but
think.
I don't. I mean, I don't think that would work because they kind of done that with the Ultimate line, and it
Yes,
didn't
yes.
really work. So,
Well, because they
and
gave them options.
mm,
Because they made Ultimate a side thing. If they had literally stopped everything and Ultimates came out as just the only thing you could get, well then that's all you can get and it would have stuck. They had a door out, you know what I mean? But I don't know, I might be wrong. It's
right.
just my opinion on it.
I mean, if you're gonna do a hard reboot, then make it a hard reboot. You know, wipe everything. You know,
Yeah,
everything's off the table.
yeah.
You know, maybe the origin for Spider-Man isn't the same origin as before. Maybe he doesn't let Uncle Ben die in this case.
Yeah, I
You
mean,
know,
you could do that. Although I think the same with the New 52 we were talking about. I don't think I'd mess with the classic characters so much. I would let their stories be generally the same. But what I would do is just have the classic stuff there,
but
so that
but
the
that's
us
but
old
that's what I'm
dudes would like it.
but that's what I'm saying is that was ultimate right there.
No, you're right. You're right.
Or
Yeah.
and it didn't work. You know, even though you said there's an option, it still didn't work because
Hmm.
people still wanted, you know, when you're dealing with the classic. And if you're going to do that, you either go reboot the whole way where you tell completely new stories, or, you know, there isn't a here or there kind of thing. It's kind of hard. And that's where the conundrum is because people are so in love with, you know, what the canon stories are for these characters that they're resistant to change those origin stories,
Hmm.
which I get.
Yeah.
But that's what I'm saying. That's why it's so hard with these reboots because you're just changing the aspects instead of saying, "Look, this is going to be might as well be a new character and just start with new character if you're going to do that instead of doing these reboots." Because
Mhm.
these root builds ultimately fail because there's people are going to complain that they aren't different enough, or people are complaining that they're too different from what they were. Um,
it's going to really anger the collectors a lot.
exactly.
Man.
Right.
But I don't know. Just I think all of us, because you see here, Bill is saying similar things, and we get a lot of comments over here in the chat that varying opinions. But the thing with it is we're all feeling a little bit dirty from what's going on with and I'm talking Marvel in particular. It just we want it to change. We want it to be cleaned and something new. That's what we want because of the so much of the nonsense that's been going on, and so much of the, to be fair, bastardization of characters, and just the nastiness that's been going on. And I think that's part of the feeling. But let's get back over here. We got two more comics to
Yeah.
get in the next 12 minutes. So now the cover I chose here quickly, but I was paying attention what I was doing a little bit more here. I did this kind of as a joke, but
Yeah.
go ahead and talk about this one.
So I've been reading Ghost Rider and Blade Spirits of Vengeance,
Mhm.
which deals with two Spirits of Vengeance, which is the Ghost Rider and Blaze as they tackle on, a limited series run. I think it was about, what, 12, 20 issues for this one,
Something like
if I
that.
correct.
This is in the
Uh,
80s, I'm pretty sure.
right. And you can tell the full 80 aesthetics, them on motorcycle and stuff. Because I did try to read Ghost Rider, Ghost Driver. It really should be because he's driving a car.
Right, sure.
But I went with some of the classic and something easy that I won't have to hunt down, all these particular issues to get the complete story. And I've been enjoying it. I mean, granted, there's some aesthetic 80s stuff is kind of cringy, but overall the story is pretty good. And that's, as some people said, there's venom in this storylines that they're dealing with, and it's pretty cool.
It is cool. I mean, I most certainly read this when it came out. Because I read everything Ghost Rider. So I
Hmm.
don't recall, but I know I've read it. Because, I never missed a Ghost Rider title at all. I love Ghost Rider. And to be fair though, the new thing they're doing, now I understand that they made him Latino because, my diversity and all that kind of stuff. I get it. But I don't mind that at all, as far as the concept of changing him, because that kind of is in the Ghost Rider mythos. Even
Right,
Johnny Blaze is not nowhere near the first Spirit of Vengeance, right?
right.
So that doesn't bother me at all. And the car thing, can actually be kind of cool. I don't mind the new Ghost Rider so much, really. Well, the new Ghost Rider is something completely different. That's someone riding around space, right? It's the Lobo. They're
Yeah,
trying to make a Lobo character or something. But I know I read these. I just don't remember specifically. So, but I love Ghost Rider.
yeah.
Yeah. Who is the new Ghost Rider, by the way? I haven't read those.
I believe it's Black Panther,
Black Panther is,
the Ghost
of
Rider now
of course,
in
right?
space. Yeah,
Yeah, no. Somebody says Robert Reyes is probably the only good new hero from the teen heroes that have been introduced. He is a fine character. Yeah, like I said, I have no problem
yeah.
with that character at all. Yeah,
I,
it's cool.
I just don't find the car in line with the theme of a writer.
Ah, yeah, I
It's
get you. I get you. Yeah, yeah,
that's my only quibble. Is
yeah.
if he was on a motorcycle, you know, then I get it that he's a writer, ghost writer. That's why he's a
True, true.
ghost writer.
You're right.
Even the first ghost rider was on a horse,
Maybe they
hence
should
ghost
change it
rider.
to Ghost Driver, maybe.
Yeah,
But
that's what I was saying. More ghost
yeah,
rider than driver.
yeah. But you could do cool things with the car. Once again, it's something new, right? And the character is kind of fun. He's not bad at all.
Yeah,
But
no, no, no.
anyway, let's jump over to the last one here that Denali brought up. Now, so far I've known everything that's here and I've read it or what have you. But this last one, I have no clue, dude. This is completely new to me. I was going to throw one more up for myself, but I haven't
Yeah,
actually finished reading the book itself, so I said maybe not. So I didn't put anything next to it. I just put this one up here. But yeah, dude, I've never heard of this book. at all. So have at it.
So, this book is called Last Mortal by John Maloney and I think Philip Sublick. I'm sorry if I mispronounced those names. They're the writers with Thomas uh, Notchlick as the artist, and it tells about the main protagonist that um, it is unable to die. Basically, the first issue he kind of shoots himself in the head because of a botch robbery or assassination. Sorry, assassination, and he wakes up alive. He
Oh,
so he yeah, so it's dealing with him trying to kind of resolve what the botch assassination and dealing with his supernatural natural ability of not dying, while getting shut up and all that stuff.
that's interesting.
What yeah, what's interesting as well is this is completely black and white as well. You know,
Is it?
yeah, it's penciled in. There's not a lot of colors in there. It's black and white. And it's kind of interesting because it's kind of gives you a noir feeling, excuse me,
I
to
see.
it. And kind of like
Now,
it kind of reminded me more of the, kind of like the pencil work, the inking that Todd showed us with some of his drawings, where it's kind of like sketchy a little bit at some points,
I
and
see.
that's kind of what the artwork's like about.
So is it black and white or is it grayscale art?
It's black and white.
Oh, so it's one of those. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's cool. It's out. This the idea concept sounds interesting. Although, it's probably slightly different. But isn't there a DC character who's kind of like that? He can't die. Every time he dies, he comes back with a new power or something like that. Um, I'm pretty sure I read a DC character like that. Someone in the chat help me out. I'm pretty
Was
sure
that the
there's
unexpected?
maybe I read many issues of it, like 6 or 7 issues of it, trying to get into it. It's a character I had never heard of before, and he dies and comes back. Each time he comes back, he has a new power.
Hmm.
Maybe it's the expected. You said
Unexpected.
no, it does not hit in my head. But you
Hmm.
guys, if you have an opinion on that, tell us over here in the chat. But anyway, this is obviously something that's different. But it just came to my head. Now, how many issues you read so far?
I read about three, and I think this is like about 5 or 6 issues.
Okay, so the art is it's a certain style that you gotta like or not like,
Hmm.
but obviously the story must be catching you.
Yeah, the story is catching. So there's a lot of things in there, kind of a lot of hints, like I mentioned as well. It's solid. It's a good read. It's black and white. Some people might dig it, some people might not dig it, but I've been enjoying it. I think today all my selection has been kind of noir, kind of gritty stories at one type or another
Yeah, but those are cool
deal.
though. See, I like those as well. And of course, over here with us, with at least with the core, we get a lot of guests and a lot of people, and of course, all of you here are welcome to come on and join us too. But as far as the core guys that are here pretty much every day, I'm probably the biggest art snob, I think, on this side. uh, because I'm very picky about art. I really am. But at the same time, I'm also keenly aware that my opinion is only mine, and it doesn't have to be yours. So but then again, that black and white grayscale book of with little touches of color with the Black Monday Murders, which we talked about first. I love that because I tend not to read a lot of black and white comics. Is what I'm trying to say. But absolutely love the Black Monday Murders. So, there you go. Resurrection Man. Thank you,
There you
Eric Boyd. He's so helpful.
go.
I had trouble remembering as well. I searched for it. It could be wrong. No, 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 it's Resurrection Man, dude. Thank you. But that was an interesting book. I doubt it's anything like this one, but it's a similar concept. He can't die, but he always comes back with a new power. Yeah. Thank you, Eric. Anyway, so guys, let me run through them real quick again. Just kind of showing them here. We started off Black Monday Murders. Then we went into Deadly Class and Case File Arkham, which is an Indiegogo. Many of you might actually have. We went into Flash Rebirth and Ghost Rider and Blaze, Spirits of Vengeance, and then of course last year the Immortal. Um, and some really interesting books in there. All of them except this one I knew and I've actually read. So I thought that was pretty cool. And we're this show here, we're still trying to fill it out, but I think it's starting to get its legs a little bit. Um, I know that I personally am really enjoying it. I hope you guys viewing are enjoying it because one of the things that Denali has said, I think each one of these shows we've done is that we talk about a lot of things that could be perceived as negative, although it's often us just kind of having a laugh at silliness, right? But we want to talk about things we love too, and especially because of my comment I made earlier. I mean, this is about love of comic books, right? This isn't about which many of the people that are causing all the trouble in comics right now for them. It is about politics. It is about anger and this kind of sickness that's going on in their soul. I feel, but we're actual comic book fans, right? This is fan speak because we're comic book fans. We love comic books, and we want to talk about things in a joyous manner. And this show lets us do that. So I hope you guys are enjoying it. Please give us opinions and comments down below. Tell us what you think. Give us suggestions of things you would like us to talk about. Hey, we might even read it, go over and read it and bring it up because as you guys notice, we actually do homework for our shows. um, of course, the best thing you could do, especially in this show, is to go down to those links down below to my Facebook and Twitter and say, Chester, I want to be on that show and talk about the comics I love, and I will put you on, dude. That would be really cool. Um, but anyway, sorry for the scheduling today and having to do this early, but it worked out well because we got a couple of our Scandinavian friends over here have been able to join us because of the hour, I guess. And yeah, we gotta go though because I have to go. So
Yeah.
anything to finish us, anything to say, and then finish us out here, Denelli?
Um. Well, thank you for joining us. Hope to see you tomorrow with our comics news today at our usual time. We have Bugs Bear Basement. We're talking about Quasar. I think 42 or 43 issue
43,
42.
43. Yeah.
43 issue 43. I know the Wolf is very excited to talk
Hmm.
about that.
Hmm.
We have fans speak this Friday with our special guest Tom Corker, who
Ooh
is the
boy,
artist of the Black Monday Murders,
that's a
and
big one.
then this Saturday we have Bunny Vision movie night with
Oh,
Evil Dead 2.
groovy.
Absolutely,
Mhm.
hail to the king. But as always, your perception shapes your reality, so always make it a good one.
Namaste.
Namaste.
Later, guys.
Aloha.